I have a mighty gift for you this morning. In the studio here with me is Dr. Joseph Michael Levry, world-renowned yogi, mystic, and universal Kabbalah teacher. After 30 years of study, research, and teaching throughout the world, he's created a unique synthesis of the powerful teachings of Kabbalah, Nam Yoga, and Eastern healing arts. Dedicated to the service of humankind, Dr. Levry has established a nonprofit healing center in New York City and in Los Angeles. Nam Yoga New York City and Nam Yoga LA, which opened last year, 2011. He's also the president of Root Light Incorporated, a publishing, production, and consulting company with the sacred teachings of divine spiritual wisdom as its foundation. He places a strong emphasis on the fundamental oneness of all religions and the divine spiritual wisdom that comes from the same ultimate heavenly source. His work transcends the theology that separates humans from the divine and from each other and from themselves. His teachings focus on personal improvement and spiritual happiness. He is the author of The Code of the Masters, Lifting the Veil, The Divine Doctor, Alchemy of Love Relationships, and The Healing Fire of Heaven, and he has created over 20 powerful healing CDs. His meditational music, sound healings, these are very powerful. They have powerful healing vibrations. The CDs have been created in accordance with the cosmic principles, and each contains a very special Kabbalistic formula that is in perfect harmony with the divine and creative laws of the cosmos. So through mantra and melody, these CDs will raise your consciousness and set your spiritual centers in motion. We'll be speaking more about that in just a moment. I want to just welcome to the show Dr. Joseph Michael Levry. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very grateful.
Your face is always so smiling. Your soul is happy and your face knows it.
It's always a joy to be here with you.
Beautiful. Now, for those individuals who don't know who you are or may have missed the last time we interviewed, which is some months ago, what got you started on this path? I mean, what opened you up? I know you're extremely interested in the teachings of divine wisdom, but we want to know a little bit more about your personal story first and how you became interested in the spiritual path and what was your opening? What happened?
I was groomed since a very young age. I was born to a very spiritual family, so it was a natural thing. It was as natural as having your breakfast. So I grew up around a lot of spiritual people. I was groomed by a lot of spiritual people, and then everything just led to where I am right now.
Just like somebody's groomed into an athletic family or something to that effect, and they learn how to play football. Your family was spiritually articulate. They had made a connection with the presence. It was very real to them beyond religion.
That is correct.
The presence was there. Yeah. So tell us about Nam Yoga, the combination of Kabbalah and yoga. How did that emerge? Because this is something that's uniquely you.
Yeah. This combination of yoga and Kabbalah, you know, the science of yoga takes care of your nervous system, your glandular system, and your blood. And then with the Kabbalah, you have a chance to see how the universe works. And going from the premise that all teachings originate from one source. And it's like having a light that is refracted through a prism, and you have 7 rays of the rainbows.
Yes.
And you have on that side of the prism all the different rays, and you have all those people who are saying, I am the red light, so this is all it is, and I'm the green light, this is all it is, and go on. By merging these teachings, we have a chance to taste at the original formula before it was actually refracted in different pieces. So the merging of Kabbalah and yoga not only allow us to take care of our glandular system, our nervous system, and our blood, but knowing how the universe works is important because that's where the science of timing comes.
Yes.
It's important for us to work with the laws of nature. Living life without working with the laws of nature, living life without being in harmony with the laws of nature, is like trying to read a book in a dark room without light.
Yes. Talk a little bit more about working with the laws of nature. What does that mean for these individuals that are tuning in right now?
Everything happens according to time and space. You cannot stop time, but you can change space. And it is important for us humans to know exactly when to make the right move, because pain and disease and suffering happen as a result of a misuse of free will. Mm-hmm. Once we have an understanding of the laws of nature, we then can harmonize ourselves with this kind of traffic light, because the laws of nature behave like a traffic light. Sometimes you have the green light, the universe says to you, okay, just go. It's green for you.
Right.
Okay. Or the time you have the red light, the universe says stop. So the red light is there to protect you. The green light is there to actually give you the go. And if you break the red light all the time, you may find yourself, for some time you may avoid an accident, but eventually you may find yourself in an accident, or you may create a traffic jam.
Mm-hmm.
So working with the laws of nature is actually understanding that we are all interconnected, and the decision that we make not only impact us, but impact everyone else around ourselves. And by working the law of nature, we are contributing to a positive evolution of humankind.
So this is where spiritual practice comes in, so that you become in tune that the laws of nature are actually an extension of the cosmos.
That is correct.
Extension of a level of order, because order is heaven's first law. And so by having a level of spiritual practice, the yoga, the prayer, the meditation, we become sensitive to these laws and are able to hear with the intuition. Yes, no, left, right, stop, go. So our spiritual practice is making us sensitive to these laws.
Yes, the spiritual practice is necessary because in the science of Kabbalah, you have to actually merge logic and intuition and intuitional logic. So intuition finds some things, and logic justifies it in time. Mm-hmm. In essence, we think of intuition as spirituality, and we think of logic as science. Spirituality becomes science in time. Mm-hmm. So the purpose of logic is to justify intuitions. Actually, intuitional intelligence is an intuitive intelligence. And your intuitive intelligence is born out of your projective intelligence and then your protective intelligence. When you merge your projective intelligence and your protective intelligence, then you have a chance to stop impulsive behavior. Mm-hmm. You no longer react to situations. You act to cause something, an action that actually is beneficial. You're not victim of circumstances.
Right.
You're actually creator of circumstances.
Right.
In order to be able to create circumstances and participate in the building of the universe, to contribute to a positive evolution of humankind, it is important to stop impulsive behavior.
Right.
Once you stop impulsive behavior, and you're coming from the heart, which means that you're coming from that place of light.
Right.
When you don't stop impulsive behavior, when you act from your impulse, then you're most likely to violate the laws of nature, and then in consequence to undergo pain, disease, and suffering.
So when individuals are acting from their protective aspect, their nervous system is clogged. The nervous system has a lot of anxiety in it, a lot of pressure, a lot of fear, doubt, and worry. And they're compulsive. Yeah. And they're living life more as a reaction. But through spiritual practice, they begin to clean that out.
Your spiritual practice just make sure that you can move from your limitations to a level of expansion. You have a chance to move from the state of duality and darkness you are in to a state of divinity, a state of light. You can move from negativity to positivity. So you're no longer a victim of fear, anger, and insecurities, who actually are your worst limitations. You have a chance to create a platform for you to operate with a neutral intelligence, a neutral mind, in a way as to make decisions that are healthy for you. Because it is the misuse of our free will that we have that causes us to undergo suffering and pain. But by a proper use of our free will, which comes from stopping impulsive behavior, which is very important, because your protective intelligence is important. It's important to have your protective intelligence because it allows you to be in a situation that looks like it is flowery and then be able to see the challenges that may be in it. You have your projective intelligence, which allow you to see a situation that look very negative, but has the chance to see the light in it. But at the same time, anything that appears to be a challenge can be a solution to a much bigger problem.
I love that.
Yeah. So your capacity to stop impulsive behavior is very, very important. That is necessary for your happiness. That is necessary for your health, because it allows you to make decisions in a way that is healthy for you and your surrounding. It is important for us to understand how interconnected we are. And the universe we live in is a sacred universe. And everybody is living by the breath of life, which is sacred, which allows us to have this sacredness to us. So taking responsibility collectively and individually for the destiny of the earth, for a contribution to a positive evolution of humankind, is to start stopping impulsive behavior. And that starts with changing ourselves, because to change the world, we have to change ourselves. When we make ourselves better, then we make the world better. So the stoppage of impulsive behavior is quite important. And when you have a spiritual practice, which is very strong, and allow you to move to that state of duality, where you're very confused and you feel in a state of darkness. You move very gracefully in that state where you are outside of your ego. In other sense, you're using your ego to move you to a state of light, where you can have access to the higher forces, to the upper world.
Yes.
And from that place, operate in a way that is healthy, not only for you, but for your surrounding.
Absolutely. If you're just tuning in to Wake Up, the sound of transformation, that wonderful voice you're listening to is Dr. Joseph Michael Levry, world-renowned yogi, mystic, and universal Kabbalah master. He has wonderful centers in New York and just established his Nam Yoga LA in 2011. That was opened up in Santa Monica. We'll give you the address a little later. Author of The Code of Masters, Lifting the Veil, The Divine Doctor, Alchemy of Love Relationships, and The Healing Fire of Heaven, and over 20 healing CDs. That's the voice you're listening to right now. Now, I really like what you're saying, because oftentimes people think that they're making a decision, but they're actually reacting based on compulsive behavior or the protective mind. Yes. And they're not really deciding at all. They're just reacting rather than responding from the deeper part of their own being.
Yeah. Karma, as they say, is action-reaction. As soon as you react, you're caught in the karma. So it is important for us, because most of us are reacting to situations, and that is based upon where we come from, our upbringing, and what they call the body of pain, But it's important for us to stop impulsive behavior, because when you can stop impulsive behavior, you're coming from a place that is healthy for yourself. You no longer sabotage yourself.
Yes.
You no longer create actions that are destructive to you and to your surrounding. You then become a blessing to the universe. You become a force for good, not only for yourself, your family, your community, for your loved one. You then become like this ray of the sun that has been activated, that light that is radiating is shining, and eventually you see the darkness actually melting away as you move gracefully through life. Yeah, but that capacity not to react is so important. But we have to be able to face ourselves in order to be able to go deep, deep inside, connect with that spark of the divine that is within us. We have to be able to work with the breath of life, which is so sacred. We're kind of like living in this world. It's very sacred. The world is sacred. And the people who cross our path have a sacredness to themselves.
Yes.
Ourselves, we have a sacredness to ourselves.
All of nature bends and bows to us when we walk through the forest. You can feel it.
Everything is sacred. The mineral kingdom is sacred, the vegetable kingdom, the animal kingdom. As soon as you start acting from a place of neutrality, from your heart, then you start understanding the sacredness of life, the holiness of life, and that everything is kept together by that spirit of love. When you move in the place of neutrality, then you have a chance to touch that divine love that is breathing through you. And eventually from that place, you give birth to light, which means that you have action that give birth to light.
Yes. Now, in your book, The Divine Doctor, Healing Beyond Medicine, one of the things that you share is that traditional medicine has made wonderful advances in many areas of health, but there's one thing it cannot do. It cannot clear your mind, and that the mind is where the diseases begin. Speak to that a little bit in terms of the manifestation of illness coming from the mind and how we can begin to clear that up.
Yeah, there's one thing that is very difficult to do is to actually face our own mind, to clean our own mind. Because in order to be able to eradicate completely disease, in order to have permanent cure, it is important to have self-healing. And eventually that self-healing is linked to love. But you have to actually be able to clean your mind, because that's where everything starts. The way you think is important. The way you feel is important. The way you speak is important. The way you behave is important. The way you act is important. But it starts in your mind. Your mind allows you to see. If your mind is blue, you see blue. If it's red, you see red. If it's white, you see white. If it's green, you see green. So cleaning the mind is important. And in the cure of a disturbance in health, you have to actually take care of the mind. Because we come from somewhere. We all come from somewhere. We didn't drop on the planet by chance. And we come on this planet and we have first of all, the mother, which is so important because she's the sacredness, the most powerful reality on the earth. The woman is the energy of God. They call it the Shakti, the force. Right. Everything. She is the door to the earth. Every single human being comes through the woman on the earth. So of course we need a mother in order to just actually have this car, which is our body, that will drive when the earth. We need a mother to get the material that she's going to lend to us. And as well, we need a father to lend us some of his material. And then eventually there is a time we spend in the womb, which is so important. And everything that happens to us during the time that's spent in the womb become our karma. It's kind of stuck to us, deal with us. Mm-hmm. But as our mother gave us some of the material, we're going to take out of her a lot of the pluses and the minuses. The same way we take the pluses and the minuses from our father. And what happened during the womb, whether the father was present.
These are all affecting us to a degree.
Completely. The day we're born and the way we're being raised and everything else. And all this come to shape our mind, the way we see things and how we react. And eventually become responsible for the decision that we make. So we kind of lean upon what they call our false self.
Yes.
Yeah. The imaginary person that we believe to be what we really are.
Misuse of our imagination, the fictional character.
Yeah, that false self. And we become the slave of that false self. And then suddenly that false self is actually guiding us and taking control of our lives. And every decision we make is actually ruled by our false self. So it's very important for us to be able to neutralize that false self so that we may bring out of ourselves that essence, that divine essence. And eventually from that place, we can operate in a way that is healthy for ourselves. Yes, there are a lot of advances that were done in medicine and everything else. But if you want to eradicate disease, if you want to actually, the science of spirituality, you want to just have permanent cure, you actually have to go into your mind to clean it up. Because otherwise, what happens is that you kind of just take care of the leaves and the fruit, but you never actually go straight to the root in order to take care of it. So you have a spiritual body, and then you have a physical body. And when the mind is clean, when the mind works properly, what happens is that all of the impulses, the nerve impulses that move from our spiritual body to our physical body, are healthy nerve impulses.
Right, the mind isn't blocking it.
Yeah, and then as a result, we become very, very healthy. As a result, we think right. We feel right, we act right, we speak right, we behave right, and eventually we are healthy. And the best form of vitamin is to think right, to feel right, to act right, speak right, and behave right.
I love
You
it.
can take as much vitamin as you want. You can work out as much as you want. Yes, it's good for you. Yes, it serves for a purpose. But if you do not think right, then it's like taking a pill to heal, like aspirin to heal headaches, and then going and hitting your head against the wall.
Well, because a headache does not mean you have a deficit of aspirin in your body. It means something else. We're going to come right back with the doctor here. This is powerful. We're going to get into a lot more about the healing of illness. We're going to get into spiritual growth and unfoldment. We're going to even play some of the chants from his CDs. Brother Mark, give us that musical inspiration.
Will you be made whole? Take a breath. And you ask, where can I stretch myself where the holy path? in the realm of efforts and good. We enter now. Nothing can be against you other than your perception. You want to be an authentic being.
Right. You might as well give in and be happy. You might as well give in and be great. You might as well surrender to the highest potential that lies within your soul. That's from the CD Transcendence. The emphasis on dance and transcend. That's by me, Michael Bernard Beckwith. That's track number 7 called Energetic Shape-Shifting. The music was put together by Stephen Bray, the former producer of Madonna, the former drummer of the Breakfast Club, former drummer at Agape for 15 years. Powerful musician. That's Stephen Bray's music. That's my message and voice from the CD Transcendence. Make sure you get it, work along with it, work out with it, sing to it, dance to it. We're coming back here right now to Dr. Joseph Michael Levry, founder of Nam Yoga, has wonderful centers in Los Angeles and in New York, a number of books, a number of CDs, and we're here really speaking about spiritual growth, development, and unfoldment, and he was mentioning to us about the mind and how illness begins in the mind and how we've been influenced by the mother, the father, plus and minuses, influenced by that which happened in the womb, external factors. But the beautiful thing about this that he leads us to, of course, that all of this can be transcended, that self-healing is possible when we understand and can neutralize both the genetically inherited challenges and the self-created ones. This is what he teaches. And, Doctor, you're speaking exactly what's now being proved by science, that which we have inherited from our parents is not the final word of our destiny.
No, it's not. It's not, because we are breathing that breath of life, that sacred breath. And we're living in this sacred world with a strong spiritual technology. Once we can raise our frequency, once we can change our vibration, once we can connect our little human computer to this divine presence, that divine computer, and then we'll get that light. We have the capacity to rewrite what was already written. We can rewrite it for good, because it is possible to actually change and shift everything and move from duality to divinity. It's possible to move from darkness to light. Yes, we can rewrite completely our life with a strong spiritual practice, with raising our frequency, with changing our vibrations. As we rise and go high and high, then we are in tune with the eternal presence, with the divine presence. Then everything starts shifting and changing.
Absolutely. I really appreciate the fact that you, like myself, put a strong emphasis on spiritual practice, because it's one thing to have beliefs about this or to have a belief system, but belief systems don't really heal. It's really the practice of what we believe that heals. And this lifting of our vibration and our frequency is really what it's all about. And so I know you really put a strong emphasis on prayer as well.
Yeah.
Give us your definition of what you mean by prayer and some technology around that.
You can change the personality by changing the brain waves. Once you change it, because the human body is a very sacred instrument that needs to be kept in tune and in order. Via prayer or the use of sound, one can be able to actually bring that instrument in order and everything start working properly. So the science of prayer is, we're using in Namika, we're using the sound. There's sound vibrations, nothing like sound vibrations. You know, sounds give birth to light. Where there is darkness, you cannot find light. Where there is light, you cannot find darkness. And then sound is the mother of light. And when you pray, you're just working with the sound, because you can use certain combination, permutation of sacred words, prayer. Because what prayer does, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system in such a way as to shift the nerve impulses that are moving from your mental plane to your astral plane. And by the time they come back to your physical world, they're all purified and create a platform for you to have what it is that you are praying for. It's incredible, because when you're praying, you're tapping into that part of you, that 90%, because 10% of us you can see, you can touch, you can relate to.
Right.
And 90% of us you cannot see. It's the unseen world. We rely 90% of the time on the 10% we see. And then we only rely 10% of the time on 90% we do not see. When actually the 10% that we see, that we can touch and relate to, are a simple projection of the 90%. So the same way, we have a physical body. We can touch it, we can see it. So we work that physical body. But we forget to actually work with our spiritual body, which of course is unseen, we cannot touch it. And actually the physical body is kind of like the projection of our spiritual body. And when you're praying, you're tapping into your unlimited potential. You're tapping into the 90% that you cannot see. That world that is completely perfect. That world that's ruled by love. So pretty much your physical body, you can say it's ruled by the cerebrospinal nervous system. And then your spiritual body is ruled by your autonomous nervous system, which is a pair of your nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. And nowadays, everything is moving so fast.
Yes.
The sympathetic nervous system is activated. We don't have time to even stop and look at the blue sky and stop to just enjoy life, stop to even enjoy taking a breath. And when you pray and when you use the sound, what happens is, because the parasympathetic nervous system of human is ruled by the principle of sound, when you use the sound, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system in such a way that you start shifting all of these brain waves, you're changing those brain waves. You affect the autonomous nervous system. As a result, all of the energy, the brain wave, the nerve impulses that are coming from your mental world and to the physical world are all corrected and purified and of a healing nature. And then your prayer get answered. So actually the secret of prayer is linked to the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for taking care of us as long as we're alive.
Right.
It is so powerful, because that's the system that actually slows you down and actually allow you to, once you work on it, when you activate it, then it creates an harmony. There's an harmony that's created between the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. They harmonize themselves. As a result,
the parasympathetic system and the what?
And the sympathetic nervous system. Okay. Because the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system are the autonomous nervous system, and they are the nervous system of our spiritual body.
Yes.
The body that we tap into when we pray.
Yes.
And then you have the physical body, which is ruled by the cerebral nervous system. So in essence, when you're using the science of prayer, which is pretty much the science of sound, because Nam, what we call Nam, is the power of the word.
Yeah, affirmation.
Yeah, it's affirmation. Like all these powerful sacred affirmation, positive and stuff. And between us human, when we communicate, we use speech. Speech is a language of the physical world. But when we talk to the heavens, when we talk to the angel, when we talk to God, when we talk to trees, when we talk to the entire universe, we use Nam. Mm-hmm. We use.
You know what I love about this? You're pulling in your African cosmology as well.
We're just tapping into the heart of the universe.
Yes.
So by using the permutation and combination of sound, we direct and redirect the energy of the body in such a way as to create a platform for healing and happiness. Mm-hmm. So actually what happens in the brain when you pray? When you pray, because of what we call Nam, these prayers, and we call these prayers or these affirmations various phone numbers of God. Yes. And you just keep dialing. And as you keep dialing, you change your brain waves. You affect the brain in such a way that your pituitary gland, which is responsible for your glandular system, which is responsible for your feeling good, your emotions, and everything else, your pituitary system is activated. And when it's activated, it goes in harmonious vibrational relationship with your pineal gland, which allow you to understand how connected you are to the entire universe.
Yes.
Once that connection is established, through the shifting the molecular vibration of the brains, affecting the parasympathetic nervous system, then what happens is all of the mental energies that are flowing down to the spiritual world are corrected. Then your prayer is given a chance to work.
And that actually is answered prayer, because when you touch that vibration, that's the answer. And then it manifests later.
It manifests automatically.
Right.
As soon as you touch that vibration,
that's it.
Yes, you merge with that light, and that prayer is answered.
Let me break this down for the people who are listening to you, because you said some very powerful things. One, you talked about the fact that 90% of us is invisible, 10% is visible. But people are living in this world through their sensorium, through the senses. And so what they're looking at and what they're looking with are the five senses, what they can taste and touch and smell and hear, but they're only seeing just a little small bit of reality. Most of what's real you can't see. So when you enter into the prayer vibration, and you enter into the sacred sounds, the words, the chants, the being still, the cleaning up the nervous system through your yoga and through the breathing and the sacred breath, now you're beginning to tap into the 90%, and you're beginning to see the invisible and hear the inaudible, so that you can do the impossible.
Yes.
What the world would call impossible. But to a yogi and to a spiritual adept, it's not impossible. It's what's already happening in the mind of God. I'm also hearing you say that you're not coming to God as a beggar, to beg and beseech God to give you a little blessing. You're rising to God to tap into and receive the blessing that's already been given.
Yes, completely, because it is your birthright to just rise to God. It's your birthright to connect with that vibration.
God consciousness.
It is just there. It's there for us to touch. Once you connect with that vibration, then suddenly you start seeing the unseen. You see the opportunities that were always there.
Yes.
They were always there, but you couldn't see them.
Yes.
There's no such a thing as bad force out there.
Inventions have already been here. Yeah. People just had to see that they were there.
Always there. You start to see the unseen. You start to feel the unfeelable. You start to know the unknown. Then eventually you start speaking the unspeakable. You start speaking your truth, and you start to just touch the untouchable that you couldn't touch before, because you plugged yourself into that vibration, that energy. And this is your birthright.
Right. Actually, it's our mandate.
Yeah.
For those of you just tuning in to Wake Up, the Sound of Transformation, I'm having a powerful conversation with Dr. Joseph Michael Levry, world-known yogi, mystic, universal Kabbalah teacher. Listen, Nam Yoga, remember that word. He has a center in New York, because many of you are tuning in from the East Coast. He has a center here in Los Angeles. I think it's actually in Santa Monica. And we'll give you the address a little bit later. Author of many books, The Code of the Masters. We've been talking a little bit from The Divine Doctor, and some powerful healing vibrations through his CDs. Now, let's play one of his CDs now, a little bit of it, and then we'll talk about the meaning of it and the effect that it has on our nervous system.
Evi Sach Nanaka OCB Sach Ad Sach Sugar Sach Evi Sach Nanaka OCB Sach Ad Gure Name Sugar Gure Name Sat Gure Name Siri Gure Name Ad Sach Jagad Sach Evi Sach Nanaka OCB Sach Ad Sach Jagad Sach Evi Sach Nanaka OCB Sach Ad Gure Name Jagad Gure Name Sat Gure Name Siri Gure Name Ad Sach Jagad Sach sive sach. Ad gure name, Jagat gure name, Sat gure name, Siri gure name. Ad sach, Jagat sach. Ebi sach, Nanaka osi bi sach. Ad sach, Jagat sach. Ebi sach, Nanaka osi bi sach. Ad gure name, Jagat gure name, Sat gure name, Siri gure name.
Now, is that you chanting there?
Yes.
That is you. And what is the name of that particular CD?
Nam Lumière.
Right. And I think that's track number 3, the soulful triple mantra.
Yes.
Give us the meaning of that. And also, as you're giving us the meaning of that, I know you also speak about the fact that sound holds the universe in balance and the power behind that.
In essence, what this very powerful mantra is doing, it's invoking the light. It is surrounding you with light and affirming the power of truth. And so it's in order for you to be freed from any situation you may be in. And it's a very, very powerful mantra. It's a mantra that will protect you against all negativity, known and unknown. This mantra is like a self-protective device against all negativity, known and unknown. In essence, everything happened according to time and space. And you cannot stop time. You cannot stop change. But you can stop space.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular combination of sacred word, what they do when you vibrate it, it clocks your energy with time and space in such a way that if something disturbing or some form of accident was supposed to happen in a particular space where you're going, it will happen before you get there or after
you leave.
Yes.
Because your vibration will be emanating at a higher level.
Your vibration will be completely emanating at a high level. It is so powerful. Actually, even if you were sitting in a plane and something was wrong in the plane and then you did it, the plane will not take off.
Mm-hmm. I've had that a couple of times.
It will not take off. So that leads us to the power of sound. The entire universe is kept together by the power of the Word. In the beginning was the Word. There is nothing as powerful as a Word.
And the Word gave birth to light.
And the Word gave
the vibration
birth to light.
Gave birth to the light.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is amazing, the impact of the Word. And God is the Word. And God is love.
Mm-hmm.
And the Word always gives birth to light. So once you vibrate the Word, automatically it gives birth to light in your aura. Your entire aura is impregnated and flooded by the light of God. And then you start benefiting from the love of God, the wisdom of God, and the truth of God. And from that love of God, you get the life, like new life. From that wisdom of God, you get that light that makes you see where you're going or what to do.
Yes.
And then from that truth
light
of God,
is also an understanding.
Yes.
An understanding.
Yeah. And that truth of God, you get that freedom. That freedom that releases you from the limitations of your body of pain, the limitations of your impulsive mind. And it's incredible what sound has, because we exercise for the physical body. Yes, that's true. We breathe for the mind. Yes, that's true, because the mind always follows the breath. But we vibrate the word, and we pray, vibrate the word for the soul.
We're coming close to the end of this interview. This went by so fast. I want you to tell people your website and let them know where your center is and any events that may be coming up.
We have naamyoga.com. They can go to naamyoga.com.
N-A-A-M.
Yeah, N-A-A-M.com, naamyoga.com. Also, you have rootlight.com. People can go to. And there's a center in Santa Monica. It's a lovely center. It's there for the community. We're here to just uplift and serve the community. It's all about serving and service. And it's located at 1231 on 4th Street between Arizona and Wilshire Boulevard.
Beautiful. And you're located now here on the West Coast.
Yes, I'm located now in the West Coast. And of course, upcoming event. We have the solstice coming. During the solstice,
these are very important times of the year.
Very, very powerful, because the etheric energy, for the prana in the universe, is so condensed and so powerful. We come together in order to just shift our molecular vibration, just raise our frequency, tap into light, and do that dance of light. And this is happening March 22nd. And then I'm going to be in Mexico very soon, next week, I believe, for a class on teaching.
Those of you who are listening from Mexico, who are listening to this webcast right now, go to his website at namyoga.com and see when he's coming to Mexico. And it's always a wonderful event wherever this man goes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's so beautiful to be here with you. It's such a privilege. It's just incredible. You're making such an amazing and lovely difference in the life of so many. I'm grateful.
Thank you for being here. This is Michael Bernard Beckwith signing off, saying you're so full of light and luminosity, and the numinous wants to express through you. And we so appreciate your time and trusting us with your attention week after week on this program.